relationship with money. And this map is going to bring you clarity. It's going to reveal to you exactly what your money blocks are and where you need to clear them. It's also going to uncover the hidden mind-body-money connection. And you're going to see that there are 3 aspects to money that you actually have to unlock in order to really change. You're going to be able to recreate your income, your debt, and your savings, because you're going to see your secret intercept points that limit and sabotage your income. And you're going to come away with your specific exact steps to actually achieving a completely new energy and action and future with money. So I'd like to talk a little bit about why I'm doing this training, why I do this work at all. I have been a relationship coach for many years, actually running into decades. And so I have spent a lot of time learning to have excellent relationships of my own and to support other people to have successful relationships. And then one day I woke up and realized that my relationship with money was lousy. And I wouldn't stand for it in a personal relationship, but in my relationship with money, I had not enough savings, I was in debt, I wasn't earning what I really wanted to be earning, and it was embarrassing and kind of shocking to me when I really took a look at it. So I don't really believe in New Year's resolutions, but at the beginning of each year, I set an intention for the year. And so I set an intention that year I was going to transform the quality of my relationship with money. And I did a lot of learning and exploring, and I was led to this work, and it had such an impact on me that I decided that I really wanted to add this to my coaching practice. So I became a certified financial success coach. And with the people that I work with, I haven't actually done a full-blown survey, but person to person, when I talk to them about what's stopping you from earning a living, doing what you love, and I mean not just getting by, but actually earning a living, doing what you love, the common answer that people give me is, it's my blocks, it's the stuff in me. So that's what we're going to look at today. And the reason we're doing this is because we want to shine the light of clarity on your relationship with money. This is my mission. And I want to really shine a light on every single bit of limiting money programming that you have. And I want to show you a step-by-step map so that you can see how to eliminate it from your mind, emotions, and nervous system. I want to do that for as many people as possible. So I'm thrilled to be doing this webinar for you today. So this is important because along my journey, I learned this lesson, that when you want to get a specific result, you have to have a specific approach, not a general approach. So if you look at money as a whole, then that's a general approach. And you get a general response to that. But when we look at the different types of money, then you start to see very specific information about what's going on in your relationship with money. And I want you to think about it this way. Imagine that you had a painful splinter in your hand. And you could generally think, oh, you know, that isn't good. I would like to heal it. You could send it positive intentions and healing thoughts and, you know, have all of your best intentions that hand was going to feel better and it was going to heal. However, if you don't get the splinter out of there, none of that's going to work. All of those things are good, and I am a big believer in positive intentions. But if you don't get rid of the splinter, you're never going to heal the pain. So think about that. Have you ever gotten that specific about your money to really understand what it is that's causing the pain? That's what we're doing today. So you now will. Before we get started, because you're going to have a lot of information today, and you're going to be doing some work. So get a pen and paper if you don't already have one there. And remove all distractions. That means, yep, turn off Facebook, shut off your email, put your phone aside, stop texting, all of this stuff that sets up a buffer zone between us and what is a little uncomfortable. Just take it all out of the way, because this is a space for you for transformation. You have an opportunity in this short hour to really make changes in your life. So give it your all. This is your chance. And this is really for you. If you set your intention now, you're going to make a lot of change in your life. So let's start. And during this webinar, you're going to map your relationship with the 5 kinds of money. And those 5 kinds of money are savings and debt, income goals, which is related to income, but it's not the same type of money. It's actually a separate type of money, all of its own. And we're going to spend a little time on the 5th type of money, which is toxic money. Not everyone has it, but if you do have it, it's a really important area to clear up. We're also going to go over for each of the first 4 types of money, the 3 unique aspects of that kind of money. So each type of money has emotions that run through your nervous system. Yep. Actually, emotional responses to that specific type of money. And it has programmed beliefs, which equals inner habitual talk. Those things that you say to yourself that you believe are true because you've been saying them for so long that it just seems real and you don't even realize that you're saying it. And the 3rd aspect is past traumas. Past events that when you are dealing with that type of money are actually connected. And because they haven't still bring up an intense reaction in you, that reaction is associated with that type of money. So that sounds like fun, right? Let's get started. And we're going to start with the first type of money called savings. So on your paper, I want you to write down the word savings. This is going to be your map. So, really put your best into this. And I want you to think about how much savings do you have? And I want you to write that number down. I want you to look at it and sit with it. And if you're wondering what I'm counting as savings, we're not talking about 401 types of future savings, but actual savings that you have in the bank that if your car broke down, you could actually pay money out of savings to take care of it. And if that number is a 0, I want you to write down that 0. And just look at this number. And when you look at that number, I want you to notice what feelings come up in you. What are the 2 main feelings that appear, and how strong are they? So when we're doing how strong is a feeling, we use a scale of 1 to 10, because if it was 0, you wouldn't be having it. So 1 is barely there, and 10 is extremely intense. It's as intense as you can imagine. So for you, write down what these feelings are that are coming up. And if you've got more than 2, that's okay. Write them all down and just jot down beside them how intense it is on that scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is top of the charts. And I want you to notice that as these feelings come up, and they may be feelings of sadness or loss or disappointment, you could look at that number and really feel disappointed in yourself. And often there is associated talk going on in your head. As soon as you start to have those feelings, you start to say things to yourself. So what is it that you're saying in your head? Is it, it's not enough? I'm a loser? I'm really screwed? You know, what are the things that come up into your head immediately when those feelings come up because you're looking at your savings? And write them down. This is your map. Capture all of this. This information is priceless. And as all of that's coming up, I want you to just check in. Is there any past event that comes to your mind that involves loss or disappointment or a loss of safety and security? Perhaps, you know, it might be in your own life, or it might have been something that happened when you were a child in your parents' life. Someone lost a job, or a parent died when you were very young, and there was that immediate loss of a sense of security and safety. And if you have something like that, if you notice, wow, when I feel like this, I go right back to when I was a kid, just put that down. Put down that event or events right here on your map. Because all of this together, we often have something that we say to ourselves all the time in relationship to savings. And it's so embedded in our nervous system, in our thought process. We say, this means this means I'm, you know, never going to get ahead. This means I'm worthless. This means I'm unlovable. You know, who could love somebody who has no savings? That's a pretty heavy thing to be carrying around with you. So write that down. And I just want you to see what we're doing here. We're looking, as I said, at the emotions running in your nervous system. We're looking at your thoughts, and we're looking at these past events. This is the mind-body connection with money. And I know that it feels like I feel all these things because my savings is where it is. I think this way because my savings is where it is. Now, I'm going to challenge that and suggest that it's actually backwards. That your savings is where it is right now because these feelings and these habitual thoughts and these past traumas were already there. And you create your savings to actually match what your belief system is, what your nervous system is set up to expect. Because savings is actually, in types of money, as a metaphor for safety and security. And a lot of times, people for whom savings is an area in their money map that they need to address have an ongoing sense of, I never feel safe. I never feel safe. But when you have all of these feelings, all of this going on, can you imagine how hard it is to actually make yourself look at this type of money, sit down, take different steps to actually begin to grow your savings, change the way it is? Why would you want to do that? It feels terrible to think about your savings. And we think about our savings a fair number of times every week, sometimes every day. And if every time it's bringing up this emotion, these repeated thoughts in our head, we'd be crazy to want to have anything to do with it. So we don't. So I just want to suggest that this is the mind-body connection to your money that is tied into what's called the stress response. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it, where when you're under stress, your body goes into fight or flight mode. Your autonomic nervous system responds with fight or flight. And that is a mind-body response. It needs mind-body tools to actually address what's going on in your nervous system and make a shift. So if this is bringing up strong emotions, I get it. I know it's really tough to look at this. I really do know, because I have done this process myself many, many times and gotten to see new things and work with yet more discoveries. It's not easy. You are doing work that very few people on this planet actually ever even hear about, much less do. But it's important. This is important information for you. So let's keep shining the light on this. And I want you to just ask yourself, how long has it been this way? I think it's probably been a long time. And how much has it cost you? If you have not been able to look at your savings or deal with it, if you've lived your life feeling unsafe, how much has that cost you? And how much will it continue to cost you? This is why this is clarifying, because actually looking at the pain and seeing the cost is clarifying. It gives you the opportunity to make different choices. Once you let this genie out of the bottle, you can never put it back in again. So that's what we're doing here today. So now you see the work we're doing, and we're going to do this for the other types of money. So it'll go a little bit more quickly, but this is the work. But first, take a breath, please. Because the other thing is, you have been really hard on yourself for this. And I'm not bringing this into the light to give you more reasons for beating yourself up, but for realizing that there's been other stuff running in you that you've been unconscious of. So you've been up against forces that you weren't even really aware of. So just be kind to yourself. Aha, debt. Now the next type of money is the type of money called debt. And so now I want you to do the same thing. Write debt down on your money map. And I want you to write down how much you have. And if you're wondering what kind of debt to include, it's any kind of debt that is troublesome to you. So often people don't have trouble paying their mortgages because they know that, that's a long-term investment and it's better than paying rent. However, if you manage to get underwater and owe more than your house is worth, that there may be a lot of intense emotions around your mortgage. Also, say school loans. For some people, that a school loan feels good because they know they did something for themselves and they're earning more. And when they're paying that off, they see the value. And other people feel really cheated and ripped off, and like it wasn't fair somehow that they had to borrow that money to get an education. So ask yourself, as you're looking at your debt, your credit cards, your loans, is this a source of intense upset for me, or even minor upset? And I do want to say, if you have a 0 for debt, just go, woohoo! Remember, this is a personal money map. Different people are going to have different areas of this map be more intense or less intense. But if debt is a 0 for you, just check in with yourself on whether there's any fear around the possibility of going into debt. Are you so worried that you might go into debt that there's really some fear going on there? If so, give your best to this process. It would be nice to say, oh, this is 0, I don't have to do this one. But ask yourself, is it a 0 because I'm really good with it, or is it a 0 because it's totally unacceptable to ever have debt, and if I had to go into debt, it would be a disaster? Then you might have some work to do. So take this opportunity, leave no stone unturned. So now you've written it down and you've looked at it. What are the emotions that have come up? What are the 2 main feelings, or more if there are more? And rate them for yourself. And a lot of times, the big emotion that comes up for people around debt is shame. It's shameful. I can't believe I got myself here. So what is it that you're saying in your head? I don't even want to look at it. Are you even opening the bills when they come in? Can you come up with a number? Is it just kind of a blur? What are you saying in your head? I'm an idiot. I'm a loser. Just notice how negative you are. And is there an event from the past that, when you think about your debt, comes to mind? And it may have involved battle or betrayal or something you never forgave yourself for. Because debt is really connected to, I deserve to be punished. Debt is a way that we set up in our lives because we feel like we need to learn a lesson. And often there's an event attached, and ever since that event, I've never been able to earn money. So just notice if there's anything that's coming up like that and write it down. This is important information, because you're creating your debt to match how unforgivable you feel. Just let that sink in. Look at that phrase that comes most into prominence when you look at your debt. This means I'm. What does your debt mean about you? And it feels so true. Put that down. This means, somebody once said to me, this means I'm the problem. Ow. All right. And just think, take this moment. How long has it been this way? How long have you been creating your debt to match these feelings? And how much has this cost you? Because we all know that debt has an emotional cost, and it has a real, actual dollars and cents cost when we're paying interest year after year. And how much will it continue to cost you? Looking at this is clarifying. Seeing this pain, letting yourself experience it is clarifying. It's not easy work, but it's clarifying. And just remember, take that breath, be a little kind to yourself because you've been hard on yourself for a long, long time. And ask yourself, haven't you suffered enough? Do you need to keep punishing yourself? All right, we're going to move on to the next type of money, which is income. And I want you to just write down income on your paper and how much you earn monthly. And for some of you, it's going to be straightforward. You make a salary and you know what you bring in monthly. Other people have businesses or have some kind of a variable income. So give it your best shot, how much you're bringing in monthly. And usually people know because they know how much, what their bills are, and they know whether they're meeting them or not. So they know how much money they're making. So I want you to write down your income and look at it and sit with it. But this time, I want you to say something out loud. And then I want you to test how true that feels. So if there's people around you, just say it under your breath, but say this out loud as you look at that income number. It's not enough. Now, say that right out loud. It's not enough. And how true does that feel on a scale of 1 to 10? Write it down. So what are the two main feelings that appear when you look at that income and you say, it's not enough? And you see how true that feels. Now, is it anxiety, frustration, stress? Income comes with the ability to declare your value. So notice what you're saying in your head. What are the things that you say to yourself? I can never get ahead. I'm fighting a losing cause. You know, what's the point of trying? And what do you say about yourself? It can be okay to make a salary because somebody else has said, well, you are doing this job and this job in the marketplace is valued at this level, and you just get that money. You've earned your job and you get that money. But it can be hard if you then try and go out into the world to do your own business and set your own value and say, what am I worth in the marketplace? So what I found was, and what many people find, is that I had a set point around my income. And in fact, when I looked back and at my corporate job at the time, I made the same amount for 5 years in a row. And somehow it felt okay. And I didn't do anything about it. I didn't look for another job. I didn't try and get a new job inside the company. I didn't do anything with that. When I started to do this work, I was in a different job. And when I realized that I had this set point, something shifted immediately. And I actually saw a job that needed to be done. And I talked to my boss about having that job. And even when he pushed back and said it wasn't really something he was going to do right then, I kept presenting what I had to offer and how important it was for me to be doing that job. And I changed my income right through doing that process out of having done this work. So I want you to think about a past event in your life that has to do with your job or a trauma in your finances, your earnings, or your parents. So did a parent lose a job and was out of work for a long time? Or was it really hard for your parents to get by? Were you earning just enough to get by? And because also attached to income is you often have made a vow of loyalty to not outstrip what your parents did. So that gets played into this set point that you have set for yourself, and all of the emotions and all of the things that you say in your head all support staying within that set point. And if you never challenge it, you never go past it. So income comes along with this resistance to declaring your value. So this means what does this mean? This means I'm not good enough, not deserving. What does this mean? And how long has it been this way? I know I'm repeating this over and over again, but I want you to get that this has been going on inside of you for a long time, that without even realizing it, the emotions, the things that you say to yourself have been creating your relationship with money. Something has been making choices for you without your consciousness. And how much has that cost you? And how much will it continue to cost you? Yeah, that's why it's worth it to actually go through this and see the source of the pain, because it's clarifying. And you have been hard on yourself, really hard, particularly where it's around our value. I don't deserve any better than this. That's kind of what I was saying to myself all those years. Yeah, this is what I deserve, so I'm not going to do anything better. That's big. Just take a breath and be kind to yourself for a moment. And then we're going to move on to the type of money called income goals. So I want you to think about how much you need monthly to pay the bills and be able to put money into savings and be able to have money to spend on things that you enjoy without feeling guilty about it. So just give yourself some time to think about how much money would that be? We're not talking about, let's set a big goal, $5 million, because anything is possible. Well, I am totally a big believer in the anything is possible approach to life. And it's a great thing to believe and to hold. But if you set it too big, it's not real. It just doesn't feel real. It's just a pipe dream. I want you to think about your next level, the next level up, where the bills are met, you have your savings growing, and you can still spend some on things you love to do with your family, on your own, traveling, vacations, self-care, massage. How much would that be? And if you don't have an exact number, I'm going to suggest just double your current income and write that down. So choose your number for your next level, or double the income number that you wrote before. And I want you to look at that and sit with it, but I want you to sit with it with this thought in mind. What if I asked you to commit to me that that's the amount that you're going to make every month for the rest of the year. Now I want you to look at that and sit with it, with that commitment in your mind. And I want you to say something out loud again and rate it. And what I want you to say is, that's impossible. Just say that out loud and then rate how true that is from 1 to 10. If you were to commit to making that much money for the rest of the year, how true does it feel that that's impossible? And, you know, we have a very positive part of ourselves, and we've been trained to be positive. So if you come up with, no, that's totally possible, I'm going to challenge it, because if it was totally possible, why is that not what you're making right now? So push a little deeper, you know, in that leave no stone unturned. How possible does it really feel? Or how impossible to make that amount of money? I'll tell you what my answer was the first time I did it. It was like, that's a 5. Yeah, that seems a 5. Because I had doubled my income. And you know what 5 was? It was half of it, which was what I was making, which felt completely possible because that's what I was making. So if you came up with a 5, just keep that in mind. But what are the emotions that come up when you look at that goal? Because that's the next level. It's not way out there. It's just the next level to having the life that you really want. And what are the feelings that came up? You know, do you come up with feelings of failure? Like, why am I not there already? Or a lot of times people come up with a really big fear around people like us and how hard we have to work for our money. So I get a lot of, sure, I could make that. I just have to work twice as long or twice as hard. I'd have to sacrifice seeing my family. I would be exhausted. I would have to do 2 or 3 jobs, but sure, I could make that much money. And if you're having those thoughts, I just want you to test them, how true they feel, because you haven't questioned them. It just seems really real. And yet there are people out in the world who are making that much money. Whatever your amount is that you wrote down, there's people out there making it. And they're not all working themselves to the bone. So just notice if you have any of these feelings about people like us that came, that's your family's paradigm, how you fit in your family. And what if you did make that much money? Would you still fit in your family? Would your parents be happy for you? They probably would. But would you feel different somehow, like you didn't belong anymore? I hope you're writing all of this stuff down as you see it. This is what we're doing here is so important for you. Because you're hearing your inner skeptic. You're hearing that part of you that puts up objections when you want to take another step, get a little bit bigger, do something a little differently. Something inside of you that's attached to your inner value says, I couldn't earn that much money because I'm what? I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not a go-getter. I'm not willing to sacrifice my health or my family or all my time. What is it that's coming up for you? Write that down. And yep, you know what I'm going to ask you. How long has it been this way? And how much has it cost you to not be able to challenge this inner skeptic? There's a huge cost to that. And there will continue to be a cost. So I just want to acknowledge you for doing this with me, because it is not comfortable. And it's so easy to take this information and just add it to all of the ways that we berate ourselves. That's not the point of this. The point of this is to shine that light of clarity so that you can do something different. Okay, and our fifth type of money is toxic money, and we're just going to go through this pretty quickly. Because not everybody has it, but if you do have it, it is so important to clear it. So toxic money is money that's owed to you that you were cheated out of or in a battle around. So maybe a lawsuit, or maybe somebody stole money from you, or maybe you were promised something and it was never delivered. And it, when you think about it, it's still raises all of that battle sensation, all of that unfairness and anger and bitterness. Or it might be that money that you're receiving that you need in order to survive, but it has a price. And that price is your empowerment or your freedom or you being the best person that you really want to be. And I don't know any of your particular situations. This is for you to look at in yourself. But an example would be disability. When you're getting disability because you were injured, and then when you start to get better, that, oh, in order to not be disabled anymore, I'm going to lose this income. And yet it doesn't really feel like you're ready to go back and earn. So you're in that difficult situation, and some people actually stay disabled rather than lose what's supporting them. So if you have some kind of a situation like that, where it just doesn't, it brings up emotions and battle and shame and bitterness and unfairness, just look at all of those emotions and thoughts, particularly around the people involved, because a lot of times it's, it's just not fair. Were so unfair. And if you've got that, you definitely want to clear it. So here's your money map. You've been writing like crazy. It's all written down in front of you. This is the exact description of why your relationship with money is where it is right now. So if you're going to sum it all up, I just want you to kind of view the whole thing and circle those emotions that you wrote down and just look at which ones were repeated over and over. And if you were just going to choose a few of them and say, my nervous system is wired to connect with these emotions, with money and wealth, what would you put down? Because you can see them right there. Shame, despair, anger, fear, a lack of safety. What are the emotions? And what are the things here on your money map that you see right in front of you that you say habitually to yourself that feels so true that it almost seems silly to write them down? But it's the truth. But they aren't true. It's just what you've been telling yourself for so long that it feels like the truth. And what are the situations that you've written down that all these things together remind you of? The things that the events and traumatic events of the past, that anytime you think of your money, this is what comes into your mind. And if you could sum it all up into one emotion, what's the number one emotion that I should focus on clearing? Put a star by it, circle it in red, highlight it, whatever you've got, and just look at it, because this map is yours forever. Like I said, once you take this genie out of the bottle, you really can never put it back in again. And what's the biggest belief that you're battling with? I'm a loser. I'm just not good enough. I totally screwed things up. What is it that's playing over and over and over and running through your nervous system? Can you see now why you deal with money and manage it and spend it and earn it exactly the way that you do? Little true or false quiz. If I don't change this, it will continue. True. The costs will continue. True. This is bigger than money. Yeah, this is not just about dollars and cents. True. And it's cost me more than money. You know, ask yourself, has it affected your health? Has it affected your relationships? Has it affected how you feel about yourself? That's a lot of cost. So I just want you to really appreciate the power of what you have in your hand, this money map. It's really one of the most powerful pieces of paper that you have ever held concerning your money and your future wealth, because it's a map of your relationship with money. And by having it here in your hands, you have the power to transform every aspect of your life. And the crazy thing is that it's something that almost no one looks at or even knows about. Have you ever been to a financial seminar like this? I apologize if you thought you were going to get investment tips today, because clearly that's not what we're doing here. So few people have any idea this is going on, but you do now. You've seen it. It gives you a huge edge because you can do something different. You saw it, you felt it, you experienced everything that's in this map. I didn't make you write it down other than to tell you to do it. This is your life, and you can do something different because you have the power of clarity. You have conscious awareness, and anything you can see, you can change. But if it's invisible to you, you have no control over it. So by bringing this up into the light, you can stop being run without your consent by your emotions and programmed beliefs and past traumas. You can change everything. You can operate in a totally different way in how you earn and manage and create money and wealth, by being clear and focused and taking specific action that before this you didn't even realize you weren't able to do. Because do you see that as you look at all of this, when these things were running you, how much access did you have to your whole brilliance? You know, when this stress response, this fight or flight response is always coming up in you, how much access do you have to your creativity? You know, you're fighting for your life. You're not thinking about how can I be creative? How much of willingness do you have to see new opportunities and step into them if your inner critic is always knocking you down? So without clarity, we can't make powerful choices and decisions, which now sounds like a no-brainer, but that's where we all were. Clarity lets you be decisive and take specific action, and you can change everything. And what I'm going to tell you is that when your money-specific inner world changes, your relationship with money in your outer world will change. So when you address this mind-body connection of emotions and habitual talk and past traumas, things change in your outer money world. And what could that mean to you? Just imagine. And I hope that you're seeing and feeling the sparks of hope here, that something could be really different, that things that in the past you've let pass you by might actually be something you could possibly be open to now. Very cool. So what now? What's the next step? Well, I want you to seriously challenge these money beliefs that we've uncovered today. It takes a lot of consciousness to keep noticing that self-talk, to keep noticing when these feelings come up. But I want you to keep asking yourself, is it really true? Are these things that I'm saying and believing, are they really true? And I want to suggest that you need to rewire your nervous system. This is a mind-body issue, and it needs scientifically proven mind-body techniques to address it. And they exist, and they're available, and they help to bring down that fight or flight syndrome so that you can actually have access to your brilliance, your clarity, your creativity, and your courage. So you have a couple of choices for today. Number one, you have to decide to change from the costly way that it's been, and to really go for this whole new energy and reality in your money. And there's a couple of ways you can do that. Obviously, you could decide not to do this, but I'm saying you really can't, because you've seen this now. How can you see this and not choose to do something different? So you've got your map in front of you. You absolutely can take this and everything that you saw and go and do things differently on your own. And it's available to you, and it will make a difference. You'll see a difference right away. But there is a path of greater certainty, which is to let me guide you step by step so that we can ensure your success. Because as you can see, this is not easy work. It's not easy to really experience these emotions and then to know what to do with them, and we shut right down. This is my gift. This is why I do this coaching. So I would love to be your guide. I really do want to help. This is what I love to do. And I can show you your exact steps to that whole new energy and action and destiny with money. I work with people individually in a really transformational program, which is specifically laser focused on money blocks. And in going through this program, you go through 3 phases of transformation and results. Today, you got a taste of the first phase, which is consciousness raising clarity. But as you become conscious and clear, we clear the blocks that come up so you can begin to have results-based transformation, where things start changing. And then the final phase is you actually get to unleash all of that inner power that's been tamped down all this time and really unleash. I mean, like unleash it on all of the opportunities that are out there in your life. So this is your opportunity. I do this in a 3-month program, which includes 9 individual sessions with me, and I record every session with you and provide it to you to download so you can listen to it over and over again as needed. And in between sessions, you have email access to me. That's how I work people through this 3 steps of transformation. And what clients say to me about the work that we've done together, well, here's a few things. I had someone tell me that he never used to complete certifications. And in doing this work, he finished his certification, took his test, and he felt like a weight was off his shoulders. Another person said that she felt like she was finally doing what she was good at and being of service. And she felt so happy and successful that she had been able to set a goal and get it. And another person had a huge opening on her ability to join networking groups and have conversations with people and be excited about it and feel lifted up again. So this program is for you if you really want a transformation in what you've seen here today. And if you really want to unleash the inner power, that part of you knows is really in there, but has felt inaccessible. If you want to remove that painful splinter that's been holding you in this place for so long. And it's not just a program about the law of attraction or changing your mindset. It really is a step-by-step process to let go of the subconscious money programming that you have and create a powerful relationship with money that's free from the limits that you've had for so long. So if you're ready to get started, I would love to work with you. And I'm offering over the next couple of weeks a free 30-minute clarity session. So you can sign up for it at the, whoops, I knew that. I just clicked on that, hold on. At the link that I have right here, which I am going to copy into the chat so that you can copy it and check your schedule, sign up for this session where we'll really go through what it is that you are hoping to change and whether this is the program for you. And it would be my thrill to have that conversation with you, to take you another step along the way. You'll be really clear if it's right for you or not. If for any reason you go to that link and there aren't any calendar, any sessions, time slots that fit in your calendar, send me an email, donna@donnamcgurkcoaching.com, and we'll work out with your schedule to find a spot for you. So I really look forward to speaking with you. I appreciate and honor you for the work that you have done on this money map today. I hope it really seeds the beginning of your personal transformation with money. And I am going to open this for questions.
Hi, everybody. This is Jackie Davis again from Virtually Here. Like Donna said, she is going to put that link into the chat right now. Also, I wanted to let everybody know that I am going to unmute them. So in case you want to ask questions, because we do have people that are also on just the audio portion of this and not just the chat. So I'm going to unmute everybody so that if anybody has any questions that have not put anything in chat, they're able to do that. So I'm going to do that now. So hi, everybody. If anybody has any questions for Donna, now is the time to ask them, as well as I will send up a follow-up email with everybody that attended with a recording, as well as a link to have that call with Donna if you want. So does anybody have any questions? Donna, I think you blew everybody away. There's no
I love it.
Well, if there's
I actually do have a
sure.
I do have a quick question. So in listening to this, very interesting. Thank you, first of all. Is this something that you do, one-on-one, or is this something you suggest doing with spouses? Or I'm just, kind of curious as a whole family finance and all that we both bring to the table, if it's more advantageous to do it one at a time or as two.
Interesting. That's a great question. I have worked with a couple, and I worked with them each individually. We did not work together, the two at the same time. It's certainly something we could talk about, but so far, really the work has been personal and individual. So, but it's certainly something we could talk about.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Does anybody else have any questions for myself or Donna?
Donna, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
How long is each session? You said there are 9 sessions?
Great question. I do hour-long sessions.
Okay. and they are recorded and downloaded and sent to the person afterwards. Did I hear that right?
I record them and they will be downloadable by the person.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Anybody else today?
I assume we'll get an email with the pricing. I'm just on a phone, so I didn't ever see anything on the screen.
In the clarity session, we'll talk about what the pricing is. There are different ways that this can be structured, so I really need to talk with you about what's going to work, if this is the right program for you, how it's going to work best for you.
So basically what Donna, just to clarify for the people that are on the phone, what Donna is suggesting that you set up a 30-minute clarity call with her, and that's complimentary. And the link will go out to an email that everybody that attended. And once you set up that call, then Donna will be able to talk to you more about the program, the pricing, the different structures, things of that nature. I do want to point out that that pricing does have a special deal attached to it for having the partnership with Virtually Here. So going through us and going through this webinar does get you some special pricing.
Absolutely. By using that link to set up a call with me, I know that you got it through this seminar. And so, yes, thank you for bringing that up, Jackie. Then you would automatically get that deal from the partnership with Virtually Here.
And for those that are going to watch this recorded, I just want to point out that this is valid for 2 weeks only. So right now it is May 24th. So you have until June 7th.
Actually, let's say June 10th.
June 10th.
Yeah.
To schedule something with, I mean, as long as you contact Donna before June 10th, that offer is on the table for any of our viewers.
And listeners.
And listeners.
Thanks, Jackie.
Any other questions, anybody? Well, I want to thank everybody again. Donna, thank you for your time and expertise in this matter. And thank you all for taking an hour out of your time and joining us for our webinar. Virtually Here does do one webinar a month about different topics. Our next one, I believe, is on MemberClicks, which is a software program that is specifically for companies that have either memberships or nonprofits with donors and things like that. And if anyone's ever interested in doing a webinar, please contact me at info@virtuallyhere.net. So thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.